Welcome back to Car Show 1, the channel where we bring you deep dives into the most iconic, classic, and modern cars that have shaped automotive history. If you're a true car enthusiast, you know that every vehicle tells a story, and today's story is about a car that marked the beginning of one of the most legendary and successful lineups in automotive history. Today, we are talking about the 1970 BMW 3 Series, the car that set the foundation for what would become one of the most beloved sports sedans in the world. This is not just a story about a car, but about a movement, about passion, and about how BMW redefined the way people thought about driving. The year was 1970, and the automotive world was in transition. Muscle cars were dominating in America, Japanese automakers like Toyota and Datsun were beginning to expand globally, and European brands like BMW were trying to carve out their identity. Up until this point, BMW had been recognized as a respectable German automaker, but not necessarily as a brand that symbolized performance and luxury together in one package. That began to change with the introduction of the BMW 02 series in the late 1960s, and by 1970, the foundation for what would evolve into the 3 Series was solidifying. While the official first generation of the BMW 3 Series, known as the E21, would not appear until 1975, the 1970 BMW models, particularly the BMW 2002, were the direct predecessors that led to the creation of the 3 Series. So when we talk about the 1970 BMW 3 Series, we are really exploring the DNA, the origin, and the spirit of the 2002 that became the basis of the legendary lineup. The design of the 1970 BMW 3 Series, or more accurately the BMW 2002 of that era, was clean, compact, and purposeful. Unlike the large American muscle cars of the time, the BMW offered a sense of precision and efficiency. Its boxy yet elegant shape, with sharp lines and a distinctive kidney grille at the front, gave it an instantly recognizable identity. The round headlights sat confidently on either side of the grille, a look that would remain iconic for decades. It wasn't about being flashy, it was about being functional yet stylish, a car designed to deliver an engaging driving experience without unnecessary excess. At just over 4 meters long, it was small by American standards, but its proportions were perfect for the twisty European roads it was born to conquer. Under the hood, the 1970 BMW 2002 featured a 2.0-liter inline-four engine that produced around 100 horsepower in its standard form. That might not sound like much compared to the big version 8S of American cars from the same era, but the BMW was all about balance, agility, and precision. Weighing just over 2,000 pounds, it was light, nimble, and perfectly suited for spirited driving. The combination of its rev-happy engine, precise steering, and a well-tuned suspension made it a true driver's car. BMW wasn't trying to compete with raw horsepower, they were creating something different, the ultimate driving machine, a phrase that would later become the company's official slogan. For those who wanted even more performance, BMW offered the 2002 Ti, introduced a few years later, with mechanical fuel injection that boosted power to 130 horsepower, turning the car into a true sports sedan. Inside the cabin, the 1970 BMW carried the same philosophy of simplicity and driver focus. The dashboard was straightforward, with clear gauges and controls angled toward the driver. It wasn't about luxury in the sense of plush leather or wood trim, but rather about creating an environment where the driver felt in control. The seats were firm and supportive, perfect for long drives or spirited cornering. There was enough space to seat 4 passengers comfortably, making it practical for everyday use, but the real magic was how connected the driver felt to the machine. It was this driver-centric approach that separated BMW from many of its competitors at the time. The impact of the 1970 BMW 2002, and by extension the early 3 Series DNA, cannot be overstated. This was the car that put BMW on the map as a maker of sports sedans. In America, it gained a cult following among enthusiasts who wanted something different from the big, heavy cars being produced domestically. Road and Track magazine praised it as one of the best handling cars of its time, and Car and Driver even described it as a screamer for the enthusiast. It offered the perfect blend of practicality, affordability, and performance, something that very few cars could achieve in that era. Beyond its technical specs and performance, the 1970 BMW 2002 also carried with it a cultural significance. It represented a new kind of car ownership, one where the joy of driving was prioritized over raw numbers or excess. It wasn't about showing off at a drag strip, it was about carving through winding roads, feeling the engine rev out, and knowing that you were in sync with the car. For many young professionals of the time, owning a BMW was a statement that you appreciated engineering, design, and performance. It was cool without being flashy, sophisticated without being pretentious. One of the most remarkable things about the 1970 BMW 2002 was its versatility. It could be used as a daily driver, reliable and efficient for commuting, but it could also double as a weekend warrior for spirited drives or even racing. Many enthusiasts took their BMWs to the track, and the car proved itself in motorsport. It was competitive in touring car racing, rallying, and hill climbs, further cementing its reputation as a true performance machine. This motorsport pedigree would later become a cornerstone of the 3 Series identity, with models like the M3 dominating race tracks around the world. By the time the official BMW 3 Series debuted in 1975 with the E21, much of the groundwork had already been laid by the 1970 BMW 2002. The DNA was all there: compact size, sporty handling, driver-focused design, and an engine that loved to rev. The 1970 model can truly be seen as the prototype for what would become one of the most successful car lineups in history. The 3 Series would go on to become the benchmark for sports sedans, dominating its segment for decades and evolving into a symbol of success, performance, and driving pleasure. And it all started with cars like the 1970 BMW 2002. Today, more than 50 years later, the 1970 BMW 3 Series, or 2002, remains a beloved classic. Enthusiasts around the world continue to restore, preserve, and drive these cars, keeping the spirit alive. Classic car shows regularly feature beautifully maintained or modified examples, and values have been steadily climbing as collectors recognize the historical importance of the car. Owning a 1970 BMW 2002 is not just about having a vintage vehicle, it's about owning a piece of automotive history, a car that changed the direction of an entire brand. In modern times, when you see the latest BMW 3 Series or even the performance-oriented M3, you can trace its lineage back to that humble yet revolutionary car from 1970. The spirit of lightweight design, balanced handling, and driver engagement remains at the heart of the brand, even as technology and luxury have advanced. It's a reminder that true innovation often comes from simplicity, from focusing on what matters most, the driving experience. So when we talk about the 1970 BMW 3 Series, we are not just talking about a car, we are talking about the birth of an icon. It was the spark that lit the flame for BMW's rise as a performance luxury automaker. It's a car that still inspires passion today, that still draws crowds at car shows, and that continues to influence how cars are designed and built. Whether you're behind the wheel of a restored classic or simply admiring one from afar, you can feel the history, the legacy, and the spirit that this car represents. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1970 BMW 3 Series here on Car Show 1. A car that wasn't just transportation, but a revolution on wheels, one that forever changed the automotive world. If you enjoyed this journey into the history of the 1970 BMW, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Car Show 1, and stay tuned for more incredible stories of cars that defined generations. Until next time, keep your engines running and your passion alive.